So normally I tell you guys to strap in and prepare yourself, but no, legitimately strap in and prepare yourself because this is probably the craziest story I've ever received. And it's about a goth girl, so yeah, subscribe if you like stories, and let's just simply jump right into it. Let's call today's subscriber who sent in this story. Let's call him Lucas. So a little context, Lucas went to high school, right, and he this year was graduating high school, and this whole story starts at a high school graduation party. But let me tell you a little bit about the goth girl, right? So Lucas was in class with this girl who kind of dressed pretty goth, and we're going to call her the goth girl, right? And goth is pretty similar to emo. I mean, you can just kind of look it up, right? And it's a cool enough style if you guys rock with that, as long as you don't do what this girl does. You know, all love from me, right? I really don't care. Do what you want to do. But anyways, right, the goth girl was, in Lucas's class freshman year, but then she dropped out freshman year, and Lucas had not seen her since then. So anyways, right, this all starts at a kind of like a high school graduation party. So essentially, right, one of Lucas's friends, who he's known for the longest time, is throwing a party at his house. His parents are going to be away for the weekend, and it's a pretty big deal because, they all just graduated high school. A lot of them probably won't be seeing each other for a while at least because they're all going to college all over the place, and, it's like one of the last times they'll all be there together. So it's a pretty important party for Lucas to go to, and sure enough, he shows up, and Lucas's best friend who's throwing it greets him at the door and gives him a big hug. It's like, man, I'm so happy you're here. Like, this was a fantastic 4 years. Actually, it's been a fantastic, 12 years because they've known each other for that long. I'm just so excited to see you here tonight. And Lucas is like, same here. I'm really just excited to see all the boys again. One last time. Let's have it one last time and let's make it a banger, right? So it's a good high school graduation party. And when Lucas goes in, I don't know, he's starting to talk to people, stuff like that. And that's when he sees, the goth girl, who he's not seen since freshman year because, she dropped out of high school freshman year. And the goth girl is with this group of other goth kids, and it's pretty clear that, she's the alpha dog or whatever, man. I don't really know. But she's very clearly, the group leader in this situation or whatever. And so, Lucas, who's just in a really good mood. Sorry if I sound so nasally, I just have all this gunk in me because of the wisdom teeth, and oh my god, bro, it's been a week, dude, but anyways, right, so Lucas is in a good mood, so he kind of feels like, alright, let me go talk to her, I never really talked to her before, but I want to make my peace with everyone. I want to have a proper goodbye to everyone. I want to make sure that I leave no stones unturned. So Lucas goes up to the goth girl, and, Lucas, I don't know, Lucas kind of, rocks with her style, man. And Lucas definitely thinks that she's a pretty one. I mean, that's just how it was. I mean, he doesn't really feel that way after the crazy event that, is coming up in a second. But Lucas goes up to the goth girl, and it's like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I was in your class freshman year. And whether the goth girl actually remembered him or not, she's like, oh, yeah, what's up? I mean, you can kind of assume that she didn't actually know him because instead of saying, oh, Lucas, how's it going? She was like, yo, what's good, bro? No, she didn't say bro, but you know what I mean. If you don't know someone's name, most of the time what you'll do is you'll be like, oh my god, friend, bro, brotherin, you'll say something besides their name that doesn't totally indicate that you don't know their name. However, it kind of does indicate that you don't know their name at this point. But anyways, right, so the goth girl and Lucas start talking, and the other goth people that were with the goth girl kind of slink behind her and kind of talk amongst themselves, and I don't know, it really was the goth girl and Lucas, they were really hitting it off, and Lucas, by the end of the night, went up to the goth girl again and said, hey, are you going to be around this summer? And the goth girl says yes, that she's starting up her job in about a month and a half, though. She's working at this, mechanics place, which is pretty cool because, that's an example of a good-paying job that you don't really need a lot of education for, which, we definitely need more of those. By the way, if you're not really rocking with college, trade schools are a great idea. Anyways, though, enough with old man ramblings from Connor Pugs, right? But anyways, she says, yeah, I'm starting my job in about a month and a half, but I'm really just gonna be chilling until then, so yeah, we should hang out. And Lucas was like, all right, like, you love to see it. No, but he then he then goes and asks for her number, and she very gladly gives it to him. And Lucas and the Goth Girl, they leave on really good terms. And Lucas is like, all right, like, sure, this girl dresses a little bit, I don't know, emotional, or not emotional, I'm thinking about emo, right? A little bit, like, intense. The way she the way she dresses is a little bit intense, to say the least, but I kind of rock with it, and she seems really cool, and she's pretty or whatever. I'll have to have her around a little more, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens. Like, I'm going off to college in another state, so yeah, it can't be a long-term thing, but hey, man, who knows? So anyways, let's skip forward like a week from now. So one of Lucas's friends is going to college, like, in his hometown, basically. There's a college that's pretty close. So his parents got him an apartment, and then he'll get a part-time job to start paying off this apartment. So anyways, right, Lucas's friend invites him over and says, hey, I'm having some friends over at my apartment tonight. Like, you should really come around. Like, if you want to invite some people too, kind of open invitation, like, just come over, man. And Lucas, who really had nothing better to do, as it was the summer, it was kind of the downtime or whatever, he was like, yeah, man, of course I'll come over. So I know the story has been super kind of regular and normal up until this point, and let me just say that this is where it hits the fan, to say the least. Real quick, though, comment a goth down below if you want to harden your comment. That is the secret word of the day. And also, if you want to support the channel, and I say this every single video because it is really that important, go ahead and binge watch some videos. Go to my playlist or just watch a bunch of videos in the recommended. And please comment down below when you're doing so I can say thank you, because you're boosting the channel and helping me out even more than you can ever imagine. Back to the story. It's about to get crazy, so just kind of prepare yourself. So when Lucas arrives to his friend's apartment, he, greets him at the door, says, hey man, thank you so much for having me over, and he sees that some other people that he knows, there's a few people he doesn't know, but he's talking to them. They got, like, I don't know, they bought some pizza, like party-sized pizza, they got, like, a movie going on, they even got, like, a Wii set up, and people are rotating going through that. Some people are just in the kitchen talking to each other. It's, like, a very chill time. Like, it's definitely a vibe in there. And Lucas is like, hey, like, you said I could, like, invite people. There's this cool girl that I'm talking to. She's like, she dresses a little intense, but she's, like, really chill. Like, do you mind if I invite her over? And Lucas's friend is like, yeah, dude, like, sure, or whatever, right? And Lucas says, oh, yeah, sorry. Also, by the way, like, this could be kind of weird, but my parent, do you mind if I sleep here for the night? By the way, I wasn't really given the explanation for why he needed to sleep there for the night, because this was sent over to me over my Instagram. You guys should all follow that, and you can submit stories there. I'm in the process of making an email. I'm sorry, I've been super busy. An email will come out eventually for you guys to submit stories. But anyways, like, Lucas's friend is like, dude, it is totally fine. You can stay over. I got, no one else is staying over, so you can stay on the couch. And, like, if a lucky lady comes over, or I meet a lucky lady, then, she'll stay in my room. You stay on the couch. We're chilling. So Lucas is in a great mood because he's got a place to stay for the night, which he needed. And also, like, the girl he's talking to is, like, he's coming over. So, like, life's pretty good. Life's about to be really bad in a second. I know it's taken a long time to get to this point, but trust me, we needed the build-up because it's about to be a massive explosion of pain and cringe. So about, like, 45 minutes later, after Lucas sent, the text to the Goth Girl saying, yo, do you want to, like, come over? Here's my friend's address. Like, he said, like, people could come over. And she's like, yeah, of course, I'll be there, right? Lucas goes, like, up to the door because, he assumes that it's her. And sure enough, Lucas opens the door and is greeted by not only the Goth Girl, but also her little posse of goth friends or whatever. And Lucas was kind of like, aha, I kind of just invited you. He didn't say that, but was like, oh, hi there. Welcome, I guess. And, the Goth Girl's like, hey, like, how's it going, Lucas? Like, I hope you're having a good night or whatever. And, like, the other goth kids, like, kind of, like, walk in, and they're all, like, looking, like, very strange, and they're all giving people looks or whatever. Basically, the goth kids for the rest of the night are kind of just, like, intensely staring at other people at the party and not interacting with any of them. Lucas doesn't even think that they were talking amongst themselves. Like, they were just literally standing there staring at everyone, being very weird. And let me just say that Lucas really thought the Goth Girl was chill, but this was all about to change right now. Because a little bit later onto the party, the Goth Girl was just acting a little bit weird, and Lucas was like, yo, what's up? And everything good? She's like, yeah, of course. And sure enough, right, the Goth Girl and Lucas kind of go into the kitchen where other people are, and she's like, oh, do you want to see a trick? And Lucas is like, what? And the Goth Girl starts talking in a baby voice, and she's like, so do you want to see a trick? And then Lucas is like, bro, are you good? By the way, like, never talk in a baby voice around me. It's one of the most annoying things I have ever heard. But anyways, I'm going to pain myself and do the baby voice. And she's like, Lucas, do you want to see a trick? And Lucas is like, dude, like, you're being really weird right now. Like, what's up? And then in front of everyone, she gets on her knees and gives him a baby bottle full of milk. And he's like, what the freak, bro? What is going on right now? And she gets on her knees and like clasps her hands together almost in a begging motion. And she's like, Lucas, let mommy shuck the bottle. And Lucas is like, hey, what? Yeah, so everyone at the party kind of stops what they're doing, except the two guys playing or like a Wii, not Xbox. Because, hey man, Lego Star Wars waits for no one, if you know what I mean. But anyways, everyone else at the party goes dead silent. Even the music stops for a second to listen in on what's going on. And Lucas is just like, oh my god, like, I underestimated this girl. I mean, I didn't underestimate her, I just didn't estimate anything, man. Like, huh? What? And then she once again says, Lucas, let mommy shuck the bottle. And Lucas is just like, why? Why are you acting like this? And she's like, because I'm just a little baby. And Lucas is just like, dude, please go. And then super abruptly, after Lucas kind of like painfully says, I think it's time for you to go, she gets up and she's like, fine. Which, like, I don't know what you're like. Are you really that shocked that after you pulled off like the weirdest, like, I don't even know. I don't know how to describe what I was just doing, but like, that's what I was told. I don't know how to describe that. But whatever, like, I don't know how you expect that after you do that, that's all I'm going to say, after you do that people aren't going to be a little bit, I don't know, weirded out. Anyways, right, Lucas is in kind of a weird position because he's going to be staying the night, and his guest, or guests, because the Goth Girl also brought over her friends or whatever, they just did whatever I did, like, whatever just happened, and, okay, maybe Lucas is not responsible entirely, right? But, it is the guest that he brought over, and he's kind of forced to stay for the rest of the duration of the party because he has nowhere else to stay for that night. And, he's staying over. So after, the goth kids leave, including the Goth Girl, Lucas is like, I am so sorry. I met that girl once at a party. She seemed kind of cool, but obviously she's not. I mean, like, it's not that hard to see why she's not, like, cool because of what just happened. But Lucas goes on to say, I'm so sorry. I had legitimately no idea that she was like that, whatever that's supposed to be. Everyone else at the party is weirded out, but it's like, you're good, bro. Like, we trust you that you didn't know that she's going to be crazy like that. And you might be thinking that, the craziness is done, but it's not. Because anyways, eventually everyone at the party leaves, and it's just Lucas and Lucas's friend who owns the apartment. And Lucas is like, kind of like goes over to Lucas's friend. He's like, dude, once again, I'm so unbelievably sorry. I thought that girl was cool, but I only met her once at a party. I also didn't think she was going to bring her weird, creepy friends. Like, I just told her to come and not anyone else. Lucas's friend's like, man, like, stuff like this happens. Don't worry about it. Like, maybe stuff like that specifically doesn't happen per se, but stuff in general like that happens. Minus the let mommy suck the bottle of milk. Okay, that part doesn't happen all the time, but the other stuff, totally understandable. And Lucas is like, all right, thanks, man. I'm so sorry. So Lucas goes to sleep on the couch, and he's awoken at 2 a.m, and he gets up and he hears a car kind of like pull up outside and kind of like not park, but kind of like You know how the car's engine's still going and it kind of is like revving or whatever, but it's just like in still? And he hears 3 car doors open, which means that every door except the person in the driver's seat opens and he hears them all close. He's like, all right, that's super sus. So he gets up from the couch and he goes over to the window. So he goes over to the window and he looks out and yeah, it's the goth girl and her goth friends. And he's like, dude, those kids are not invited back. Like, I don't want to talk to them ever again. And then he realizes that they're all holding the same thing. And he's like, what are they holding? Because it's like not super conventional. And he kind of looks a little closer and you can see them pretty clearly because of the street lights. And he's looking out and he's like, oh my God, like, they're holding egg cartons. And immediately he realizes, oh shoot, they're gonna like egg the house or whatever. And so sure enough, he goes over and he wakes up his friend. He's like, dude, I'm once again so sorry, but you gotta come out. You gotta like get up and follow me. And his friend's all groggy, like, bro, what? And he gets up and Lucas brings him over to the window. He's like, look, I think the people I invited over were mad that I think the goth girl's just mad at me and I think she's gonna try and like egg this house. And Lucas's friend's like, bro, like, why? And Lucas is like, once again, I'm so sorry. This girl is obviously much more insane than I ever thought. But, like, let's call the police. And, Lucas's friend's like, yeah, they're about to egg my property. Let's call the police. So anyways, right, sure enough, they, open up their egg cartons. And so they start grabbing the eggs. And so Lucas, just to make sure that they can't weasel out of it, grabs his phone, records them in high definition thanks to the streetlights, and Lucas clearly records them egging, his friend's house. He's like, all right, well, I got their faces pretty clearly, and I also got them clearly egging the house. And sure enough, right, eventually they hear a police siren, and the goth kids are like, oh my God, we gotta get out of here. And they kind of like hop into the car, but the police pulls up right next to them. Is like, I'm gonna ask you guys don't go anywhere, right? So sure enough, they all kind of step out and, the police officer, like one officer is like with them being like, don't go anywhere. The other police officer walks up the stairs and, a couple moments later, Lucas and his friend hear a knock on their door. And so sure enough, the police officer comes up and says, hey, did you guys follow the call? Or do the call, not file a call. You know what I mean? And Lucas says, yeah, like this is my friend over here. This is his apartment. The people outside, I invited over because I thought they were going to be cool, but then they were being very, very strange, so I had to kick them out. They didn't do anything like, breaking the law at the party, but I think they were just mad that they got kicked out. So it looks like they came back to get some revenge, but obviously, like, you can't be throwing eggs against someone's house, right? And the police officer's like, yeah, this is, a misdemeanor or whatever, or like some kind of minor offense. He's like, do you guys want to press charges? And Lucas turns around, looks outside, looks out at the window, right, and sees the goth girl just like kind of like hissing at him and clawing at him and kind of like snarling at him. And he's like, you know what? It's not up to me. It's up to my friend. And he looks at his friend and kind of like nods. His friend's like, yeah, actually, I would. I don't know these people. Full extent of the law, officer. Thank you very much. So the officer goes downstairs or walks out of their apartment and goes down the stairs to meet up with his other officer. And Lucas and his friend, they run over to the window. And yeah, sure enough, they see all of the goth kids getting handcuffed, put in the police car, and another police car comes because it's like too many people for one car. And they're driven away. And Lucas is like, dude, like, once again, I am so
Click on the video
sorry.
on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.